Welcome to Brad Kyle's Brad's Motorworks podcast, where we'll be talking about some things about BMW, some things of cars in general, and some things about car repair. I hope you find it educational, enlightening, and I hope it increases your understanding of your car. And maybe along the way we'll have some fun too. Thank you for listening, and here we go. Episode number 97, Can Autonomous Vehicles Interpret Human Behavior? It's a good question. Like the last two previous episodes, again, this is from this is going to be read verbatim from a automotive trade type repair magazine. Okay, so this is not something that is going to be available out in the normal public, not unless you search for it. Okay, it's from a company called Adapt Automotive, and I get these emails all the time, and so I obviously go through them and see if there's anything. I read a lot. And I see if anything is maybe appropriate for a future podcast title. So this particular article was written by a Mariah King. This is pretty fresh information. This article is dated October 27th of 2020. And before we get started on that, just real quick, again, a little commercial. I have recently made some of the podcasts, previous ones, basically only available as a pay-for-play type of a thing. If you go to the main podbean.com web page or website and then do a search for Brad Kyle's Motorworks Podcast, when you get to that main page, you'll see on the upper right-hand corner where it says Become a Patron. If you click on that, I've set up to where if you can do or want to do a monthly subscription type thing, I've made a number of podcasts only available again as a pay for play type of a thing, and the subscription price shows $5 a month. You can certainly contribute less than that. You can contribute more than that. If you want to do it for a month or two, and you can always cancel it. It's cancelable at any time. But it helps me for future training and obviously to keep the podcast going. And the list of ones that are available, you can go through the list to see what's there without having to pay for it. I picked ones that I know that if you listen to them and apply them in your car ownership life, that over your life and driving cars and having them repaired and so on like that, if you apply the information that I provide you on those, there's no doubt that you could save literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars over your life in regards to car repairs, and certainly reduce the whatever stress a person may feel from the car repair process, because you're educating yourself. And I'm trying to make information available that I've learned over the years, and like I say, I picked the ones that I know that could save you literally thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. So I hope you check that out and, contribute to that. I really would appreciate it. And again, it can be an ongoing, monthly subscription type thing, or you can, cancel it at any time. So let's get back to the main reason here, the article. So again, it's called Can Autonomous Vehicles Interpret Human Behavior? The main caption on this is, can AVs, autonomous vehicles, interpret human behavior? When you're behind the wheel and a pedestrian waves at you, what does that mean? Most would assume the pedestrian is giving you and your vehicle the right of way, signaling to you that you should turn before they cross. How does the interpretation change when it is a cop waving at you, or a crossing guard, or a construction worker? More often than not, humans understand other humans even when they are not communicating verbally. But can the same be said for a car? Sam Anthony, co-founder and chief technology officer of Perceptive Automata, okay, either one, says body language is indicative of intention. The way someone is holding a bag is incredibly diagnostic as to whether or not they want to cross the road. Body language and facial expressions are highly communicative features for humans, but how does a driverless car interpret these everyday expressions? Partners for Automated Vehicle Education recently hosted a webinar, discussing the integration of human behavior into autonomous vehicles. Getting one to inform the other is an uphill battle, battle. Wow. But experts in the field gather to share insights and challenges that they have identified so far. These are my words. So it's, folks, autonomous vehicles, one of the reasons why it's we're not there yet is all these things come into play. It's not just sensors in the car, it can see the lane, and there is human behavior issues at play. And like I've said on a couple of other podcasts, there's moral and ethical decisions that we make when we're driving a car, okay? Whether it be somebody steps out, and I talk about those on some previous autonomous vehicle podcasts I've done, okay? That we make potentially moral and ethical decisions of what to do, especially in an emergency, okay? Well, guess what? If you're in a level 5 autonomous car, there is no driver inputs. There's no steering wheel. There's no gas. There's no throttle. There's no gas. There's no brake, okay? You are in a human being in a box, so to speak, with 4 wheels going down the road. So the car has to be able to make all these decisions, or someone's going to get hurt, okay? So there's going to be a lot going into, a lot more than most people realize going into, to be able to make a true autonomous car actually work and not hurt somebody, okay? So continuing on, perceived human behavior. As a human driver, when you see someone standing at a crosswalk, you can generally figure out if they are planning to cross or not based on body language. Someone who is standing further from the intersection and looking at their phone is probably not about to dart into oncoming traffic. But how would a car know that? Anthony says in the broader sense that his company is focused on human intuition for machines. What we try to do is use the techniques of behavioral science, then deploy a system in an autonomous vehicle that sees them in the same way. Meaning a car could interpret an individual's intentions similar to how a human does. Any information that is available, people will use, Anthony says. The way someone is holding a bag is incredibly diagnostic as to whether or not they want to cross the road. Excuse me. The next section is called Actual Human Behavior. When it comes to analyzing actual human behavior, Nadia Anderson, manager of government relations at Cruise, says a dynamic approach is the first step. Pedestrian types range from the classic cyclists, joggers, and rollerbladers to today's electric scooter rider. Each of these pedestrians will move, think, and react in various ways, and autonomous vehicles should be prepared for any outcome. But Anthony says it is not as straightforward as it sounds. Pedestrians and cars have 100 years of history. They're deeply learned, he says. Whereas an electric scooter, even the people riding them don't know how they're supposed to behave. At Cruise, Anderson says they are studying just that through the use of video games. How does LeBron move the same on the court as he does in a video game, she poses. It is through research of body language, movement styles, and above all, intention. Anderson says that is what they are studying at Cruise and will hopefully be able to teach autonomous vehicles. Humans are diverse and behave in diverse ways. In order to get this right, a diverse set of technologies and methodologies are needed, Anderson says. The next section is called Infrastructure as a Role. Anderson says infrastructure absolutely plays a role in educating autonomous vehicles about human behavior. In fact, some streets in San Francisco have been designated as slow spaces where cars and other large vehicles are prohibited. According to the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency, the goal of these spaces is to make San Francisco more welcoming and accessible for people who want to travel on foot, bicycle, wheelchair, scooter, skateboard, or other forms of micromobility. For shops, this could mean a decrease in the frequency of collision repairs due to the extra safety measures and dedicated laneage to pedestrians. It could also mean an increase in the complexities of repairs should autonomous vehicles become commonplace on public roads. The changing landscape of transportation is informed, namely, by technology. With technology, you can get more predictability, says Anthony. When it comes to informing autonomous systems of human behavior, he says it's more of an art than a science. So that's the end of that article, but you can see from that, and again, this is why I thought I'd put it out there as a podcast. There's going to be a huge, millions, if not billions of dollars invested into actually get a true autonomous car to market. Okay, it's not just the technology as far as the stuff that makes the car work, as far as sensors and cameras and LiDAR and just the list goes on and on and on. Okay, it's not just the mechanical stuff. It's not just the electronic stuff. It's going to be all the things like that article talked about. That car is going to actually have to either be programmed into it or have the ability to learn human behavior. One of the things they talked about, and I say I did another podcast where it's called telematics, where cars will be communicating with one another and sharing data and information. So the idea being in that scenario that it's not just every car in and of itself learning these things or having it programmed in. It's that each car, if it can communicate with other cars, whether it be short range, mid-range, long-range communications, it's all of the experiences of those cars coming together to where obviously we're talking about, again, AI, artificial intelligence. Okay. So, it could get scary from the idea of thinking about all of that. But the amount of computer power that cars that already have, let alone in the future, is just going to be phenomenal. And that's going to be part of the expense of buying that car, owning it, maintaining it, driving it. Okay. Or not driving it, actually, for that matter. So I hope you found this interesting. I thought it would be worthwhile to get it out there and to keep those of you that are interested to be informed of what's going on out there. And I appreciate your time. As usual, if you want to get a hold of me via email, it's bkpodcast5@gmail.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. And like I say, getting back to the commercial part here, just go to podbean.com, do a search on Brad Kyle's Motorworks podcast. You'll see my main homepage where you can look at, scroll through all the different podcasts I've done. And again, on the upper right-hand corner, there's that Become a Patron link you can click on and go from there if you so desire. So I appreciate your time. I hope you got something out of this one. I'm constantly reading, and so things come across my desk all the time that I think if it's, whether it's something I figure out myself, it's through notes and just my own words, or it's reading an article that just seems really good to me. So, again, appreciate your time. Appreciate you listening. I hope you have a fantastic day and a great tomorrow. Thank you again. Thank you for listening to this episode. It's been an honor and a privilege to spend time with you. I hope you found this of value. Please share it with family and friends. Above all else, with all you're getting, get understanding. May God bless you and keep you. And thank you again.